What's up, everybody? It's your boy J-Rod, and right now we're here in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. And in today's video, I want to talk about how much money you should bring to Dominican Republic. So this video is kind of tricky to make simply because everyone has different financial classes and everyone makes different amounts of money. And in reality, there really is no set amount of how much money you should bring to Dominican Republic. But from this video, I'm going to try to throw out some prices and help you get a better estimate of how much you think you should bring. So I'm going to do this video based off of if someone's coming here for 1 week. That's going to be the easiest way to do it because everyone's going to be coming here for a different amount of time. Some people are going to be here for a week. Some people are going to be here for 2 weeks. Some people are going to be here for 2 months. So the best way for me to do this is just to assess this over for 1 week. And then if you want to do it monthly, just multiply it by 4, and then you'll have how much you should bring for an entire month. Okay, so let's just assume everybody's already done paid for their plane ticket and their hotel. So if you haven't watched my previous videos on how to get cheap airfare, I've made a couple of videos about that, and also affordable ways to live when traveling. So if you haven't watched those videos, you can do that. Now, I told you personally, I like using Airbnb. I've been using that for a while. I've also used Hostel in the past. I don't really do hotels that much because I found that Airbnb is more affordable and you can get more out of it than in a hotel. But if you want to do the resorts or do whatever you want to do, to each his own. Oh, also staying with friends, because staying with friends is for free. So the first expense you have to pay for when coming to Dominican Republic is the transit between the airport and your hotel or the place that you're going to be staying at. Now you have a couple of options when doing that. The first one is public transportation. So me personally, I wouldn't recommend public transportation for someone brand new coming to the country because the reality of it is you don't know the country and public transportation doesn't have GPS, so you're not going to really know where you're going. That's why I wouldn't do the public transportation, even though it is the cheapest option. And then the second one is the taxis. The taxis are going to be more on the higher end. The taxis, they do try to kind of play that gringo thing where they'll try to bump up the price. So that's why I don't really like using the taxi. But also they have Uber. Now Uber is really good because the price is set, but you do need to be careful with Uber because I did have an incident where I got scammed with an Uber driver at the airport where I ended up losing a lot of money, and I was pissed off about that. So I wasn't gonna make a video about it at first because I thought it was just me, but then with talking to other people and doing research online, there's actually like this really big scam that's going on with the Ubers at the airport. So if you are gonna be using the Uber at the airport, just be very, very careful about it. And I'm gonna make a video in detailing and explaining the whole story, what happened. Now, when I come to the airport, I usually just get my friends to come and get me. And so if you are coming to the DR and you want someone to come and get you from the airport that's like reliable and trustworthy, I have in my phone contacts list of people who can help you, and we can set that up. So just DM me and just let me know, and I can set you up with somebody. And their prices are reasonable and they're flexible, so they can accommodate what best suits you. So from an Uber, you're probably gonna spend anywhere between like $17, $20. Taxis, I done seen it go up to $30, sometimes even $40, depending on how much they try to play you. So like I said, the taxis, just be careful with that. But I would say on average you spend anywhere between $20 to $25 for transportation from the airport to your hotel. So I would say around $50 in total, because you have to pay that $25 back when you're coming back to the airport when you're leaving Dominican Republic. Okay, so one of the first things you're gonna wanna establish when coming to the DR is cell phone data. So cell phone data is relatively inexpensive here. One of the things that I bought was the mobile hotspot from Claro, and basically this alone was $30 US, but to get the unlimited data for, I think you can get for 5 days unlimited data is 150 pesos, so that's like $3. So yeah, for 5 days you get unlimited access for $3. So when you do the math, it's what, like 30 days in a month, and so 5 goes into 36 times, and then 6 times that 150 pesos. So you're spending like almost $20 a month on unlimited internet access. So yeah, you come to the DR, get you the mobile hotspot, and then you can do the data for 150 pesos for every 5 days. Or the next option is now you can get you the Maquito. Now I made a video about why I have this, because I don't feel comfortable carrying around my smartphone in Dominican Republic. I don't like carrying around this everywhere I go. So I have my Maquito, and basically this can do like basic calls to people in the Dominican Republic. This phone by itself was 1,000 pesos, so that's like $20. And it has a SIMS card, so you just pay for how much service you need. And like I said, it's inexpensive. You also have another option where you can bring like an older smartphone, like an Android or something, and you can put the SIMS card in there as well, and you can have internet access. But usually I just use my mobile hotspot and my smartphone. I just put on airplane mode, and then there you go. And if I gotta call somebody locally, I just use, this is my Dominican phone that I use, so yeah. Okay, so the next expense I want to talk about is food. So I've already said that the food here is relatively low. That's when you're living like a local. Now, when you start getting into like these American fast food places, or you start getting into all these big touristy restaurants, then you can start spending a lot of money on food. For example, if you go to like, let's just say McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's, but this is just an example. Like, for two people, you can almost spend almost $20. So you got to be careful when you start going to the American places, because the American places here are more expensive than they are back home in the States. So that's just a little pointer. So if you are going to be doing food in Dominican Republic, your best option is to do local stuff. For example, like Pico Pollo, that's like a fast food place, but it's more for locals, and that's like $3. You get a lot of you get like rice, beans, chicken, fries, whatever, and they give you a big portion of it. So that's just an alternative if you're trying to do something like that. But I do like eating more of the local food because it is cheaper. Like, for example, in this video right here, that cost me $2 for that plate of food. So, you know, living like a local, it wins. Oh, but something else I need to point out, if you're using your debit card when you go out to eat, like in a sit-down restaurant, on the ticket, they do have an 18% service fee. Now, that fee is not the tip. It looks like the tip, but that's not the tip. That actually is the fee that goes to, like, I guess they say, like, the kitchen staff or, like, other people. So if you see that on there, that's what that is. And the best way around that is, like, if you pay with cash, then I know you don't pay for that fee, but like if you pay for your card, if you pay with a debit card, you're almost always gonna see that. Now, some restaurants, they do have that already calculated within the price for the food, so that's like already added in there. But some places don't have that, so you need to calculate that 18% when you, like, if you're using like a debit card. But still, even in the end, after all that, you still end up paying less than what you pay for the United States, even with the little service fee. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So let's talk about alcohol. So for a small Presidente, that's like $1.50, and then for a large, that's like the regular size that most people get, that's $2, and then you get the jumbo Presidente, and that's $3, and that's like what you share with other people, and they give you the little cups. Yeah, so beer is not the same price as it is in the United States. Now, me personally, I don't drink beer in the United States because I think it tastes like boiled quarters. Like, that shit is disgusting. But I don't know, something about the beer in Dominican Republic, I just really like the taste of the Presidente. Like, it's just not the same. It doesn't have like that bad aftertaste that you get from a Bud Light. But so beer is really inexpensive. Drinks are inexpensive. If you start getting into things like whiskey and things like that, you can spend a lot of money. Yeah, I got some story times about that. A bottle of water is 10 pesos. And like I said, you can't drink from the tap. Remember that. So a bottle of water, that's 10 pesos. That's less than $1. So as far as transportation, so you have a lot of different options for that. So the cheapest option is probably going to be the Carro Publico. Now, a lot of people are not going to like this because you're literally sitting in a car with a bunch of strangers, pretty much sitting on everyone's lap. Like, that's how tight it is, but that's going to be the cheapest option for transportation, and that's usually less than $1. That's a couple of pesos. Then you have the Guagua. That's like another version of a Carro Publico, but it's a bus, so you have a little bit more room. And then You have the moto conchos. Oh, I love the motos. Those are my favorite, but they're kind of dangerous. A moto ride is usually anywhere from 50 pesos to 100 pesos for average distances. So that's like $1 or $2. And then you have the taxis. I don't really use the taxi anymore because I just got fed up with them always changing the price on me. Like, that was getting really annoying. So I don't use the taxis, but those are usually like $3 or $4. And then you have the Ubers. And the Ubers, I really like those a lot because the price is set. They don't change. That's probably going to be the best thing for a lot of foreigners to use Uber, so you don't have to deal with being lost. And that's another thing, is GPS. So if you don't speak Spanish, that's the one thing with public transportation. You need to know Spanish in order to use it, and you also need to know Spanish to use the motorcycles because a lot of them don't speak English. So, but with the Uber, it's all GPS, and you don't have to worry about that. But I would say with the Uber, your average prices would be, hold on, let me check. Usually on Uber, I've spent anywhere from like $2 or $3 per trip. It's really not that expensive. Like in America, like one trip is like fucking $11. Like, it's crazy. So for transportation overall in Dominican Republic, I would say bring roughly around $100 because that's also including the airport fees as well when you leave the airport and you're coming back from the airport, and then all of your traveling throughout the city. So I would say $100 in total you need for transportation. Okay, so activities in the DR aren't really that expensive either, or in Santo Domingo. So for example, going to the aquarium, I think that's only like $2. Going to the movies, that's like maybe $4 or $5 maybe. Going to like the malls, okay, so let's talk about clothing. So the clothing in the mall is actually kind of expensive because like I said, a lot of the brands, like the America stuff, is higher in Dominican Republic. Even like going to the Apple store, like I saw the prices in the Apple store, I'm like, whoa, like it's way more expensive here than it is back home in the United States. So if you go to like your Agora or Sambil, those are like the different malls, yeah, you will see that like, the prices can be a little bit higher. Like I know for a pair of jeans it's like $40 or $50 here, which that's kind of the same in the United States a little bit, but that's if you go into like these big commercial places. Now, like I said, when you go into the streets and you talking to vendors or you buying clothes from like other places that are not like these big malls, then yeah, it'll be way more affordable and cheaper. But some other activities, like I know going to a club, you don't pay anything to go in the club. You just pay for the drinks. And I already told you how much alcohol is. A haircut here is like maybe $4 or $5 for the guys. Oh, going to the beach. Now, going to the beach is kind of expensive, okay, if you're using Uber. So, yeah, that trip from your hotel to the beach, like all the way down to Boca Chica, is like almost $30. And then that's past the airport, so yeah. And then when you're talking about coming back from the beach, that's like another $30. And then being at Boca Chica alone, it's a lot of vendors there. They're going to be trying to sell you a lot of things. And especially if they know you're a foreigner, they're going to try to charge you more. So you can spend a lot of money at Boca Chica if you're not careful. So just keep that in mind. But going to anything in Colonial Zone, like souvenirs and gift shops, it will be kind of more expensive. Pretty much overall, everything is low cost. So if you are coming to the Dominican Republic, I would say when you include food, transportation, activities, when you include all that, I would say bring roughly around $400 to $500 for 1 week, and you'll be good. So that's pretty much including everything, transportation from the airport, if you're going to the beach, like all that. $400, $500, $600 if you just want to play extra safe. Now, I don't think you really gonna need all that for 1 week. If you spend your money correctly and wisely and you know what you're doing, you'll be okay. Long as you're not splurging and just going crazy. Now, if you go to Punta Cana, that's a completely different video. Completely, like Punta Cana, one excursion alone can be $100. I'm being dead ass. Like that's like Gringo land over there. Okay, so Punta Cana, yeah, you will need to bring more. Like you probably need to bring $1,000 or more minimum just for like a week out there. But if you're coming to Santo Domingo, you'll be okay with really 400. Dude, I done lived, when I was out here, I was living off of like $1,000 a month, okay? Like, you can do it, bro, because that's what, like $250 a week? Bro, like, you really don't even need $500 for 1 week. But I'm just saying this for people who are coming out here and they just want to play it safe, and they want to be okay when they come out here and make sure they're not running out of money. But it really just depends on how you spend it and who you're with. Oh, let me tell y'all about that. Okay, so an easy way to blow all your money in Dominican Republic is spending it on other people. So I've been in situations where like we'll all be out drinking, having a good time, and then when it's time for the bill to come, they like all put the tab on me. I've had situations like that before. Or like you'll be talking with somebody, casually drinking with somebody, and then next thing you know, you're paying for their stuff. So you need to be very clear and be very strong on like what you're paying for and who's paying for what, because people, they do know how to finesse that and they will take advantage of that. Also, getting paid or paying for services that you never asked for. This happens like a lot in the touristy areas. Like, well, one time this guy, he started putting like this stuff in my hair, and he was like, oh yeah, it costs this much. I'm like, yo, like, I never said I wanted this. You know, people, they'll do things like that where they'll try to charge you for services you didn't ask for. And of course, the big one is like people changing the price and you paying for stuff that's not really the actual price. So like I said, the best way around that is to find people who are going to tell you how much stuff actually really costs. So yeah, but if you come out to the DR, like, you're gonna have a good time. You're not gonna really need to spend that much, but you can get yourself into trouble depending on the situations. But so I would say overall, coming out to the Dominican Republic, I would say for 1 week in Santo Domingo, to play it safe, $400 to $600. I mean, if you just really got to splurge like that, then $1,000, but I don't think $1,000 is really that necessary. But that's all I got for this video, guys. I hope that this helped. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and catch me in my next video. All right, peace.
Puffing on me high grade, sipping on me liquor. Girls, them a come, them a want, them a take her. Batman, me a come in, me a wanna take her. Girls, them a come, them a want it on the liquor. I steady sipping on my liquor. Then I tell her me she give her, never trust another nigga.